Welcome, dear friends, to the enchanting world of words, the Millennium Library. Here, memories take us back to warm nights where grandmothers and mothers wove the most wonderful tales. Our only wish now is for you to listen, to dive deep into the heart of the stories that shaped our minds and souls. We have embarked on this unique project, the Millennium Library, to gather for you a treasure trove of timeless novels and stories, and present them to you with voices full of warmth and sweetness. It is a legacy we are creating together between humanity and artificial intelligence to remain a testament to the power of words and the magic of storytelling throughout the ages. We hope you find in it what delights your souls and enriches your imagination. If this work touches your hearts, we would be delighted if you share it with your loved ones. And remember, your support lies in liking this segment and leaving your comments which illuminate our path. We are here to grow by you and with you. With sincere regards from the Millennium Library. The Brahman's Clothes. There was once a Brahman who had two wives. Like many Brahmins, he lived by begging and was very clever at wheedling money out of people. One day, the fancy took him to go to the marketplace, dressed only in a small loin cloth, such as the poorest laborers wear, and see how people treated him. So he set out, but on the road and in the marketplace and in the village no one salaamed to him or made way to him, and when he begged, no one gave him alms. He soon got tired of this and hastened home, and putting on his best pagri and coat and dhoti, went back to the marketplace. This time, everyone who met him on the road salaamed low to him and made way for him, and every shopkeeper to whom he went gave him alms. And the people in the village who had refused before gladly made offerings to him. The Brahman went home smiling to himself, and took off his clothes and put them in a heap, and prostrated himself before them 3 or 4 times, saying each time, "O source of wealth! O source of wealth! It is clothes that are honored in this world, and nothing else." The winning of a bride. Formerly, this country was all jungle, and when the jungle was first cleared, the crops were very luxuriant, and the Santals had large herds of cattle, for there was much grazing, so they had milk and curds in quantities, and ghee was as common as water. But now milk and curds are not to be had. In those days, the Santals spent their time in amusements and did not trouble about amassing wealth. But they were timid and were much oppressed by their Rajas, who looted any man who showed signs of wealth. Well, in those days the winters were very cold, and there used to be heavy frost at nights. And there was a man who had 7 grown-up daughters and no son, and at the time of threshing, the paddy he had to undergo much hardship because he had no son to work for him. He had to sleep on the threshing floor and to get up very early to let out the cattle. And as the hoar frost lay 2 inches deep, he found it bitterly cold. In those days, the villagers had a common threshing floor, and one day, this man was talking to a friend, and he jestingly asked whether he would spend a night naked on the threshing floor. And the friend said that he would if there were sufficient inducement, but certainly not for nothing. Then the father of the 7 daughters said, "If you or anyone else will spend a night naked on the threshing floor, I will give him my eldest daughter in marriage, without charging any bride price," for he wanted a son in law to help him in his work. A common servant in the employ of the village headman heard him, and said, "I will accept the offer." The man had not bargained for such an undesirable match, but he could not go back from his word. So he agreed and said that he would choose a night. And he waited till it was very cold and windy, and then told the headman's servant to sleep out that night. The servant spent the night on the threshing floor without any clothes, in spite of the frost, and won his bride. Marriage with Bongas. There have been many cases of Santals marrying Bonga girls, not of course with formal marriage ceremonies, but the marriage which results from merely living together. In Darbar village near Silingi, there are 2 men who married Bonga. One of them was very fond of playing on the flute, and his playing attracted a Bonga girl who came to him looking like a human girl while he was tending buffaloes. After the intimacy had lasted some time, she invited him to visit her parents. So he went with her, and she presented him to her father and mother as her husband. But he was very frightened at what he saw, for the seats in the house were great, coiled up snakes, and on one side a number of tigers and leopards were crouching. Directly he could get a word alone with his wife, he begged her to come away, but she insisted on his staying to dinner. So they had a meal of dried rice and curds and gur, and afterwards he smoked a pipe with his Bonga father-in-law, and then he set off home with his Bonga wife. They were given a quantity of dried rice and cakes to take with them when they left. After seeing him home, his wife left him, so he thought that he would share the provisions which he had brought with a friend of his. He fetched his friend, but when they came to open the bundle in which the rice and cakes had been tied, they found nothing but myrrh leaves and cow dung cakes, such as are used for fuel. This friend saw that the food must have been given by Bongas, and it was through the friend that the story became known. In spite of this, the young man never gave up his Bonga wife until his family married him properly. She used to visit his house secretly, but would never eat food there. And during his connection with her, all his affairs prospered. His flocks and herds increased, and he became rich. But after he married, he saw the Bonga girl no more. The adventures of the other young man of the same village were much the same. He made the acquaintance of a Bonga girl, thinking that she was some girl of the village, but she really inhabited a spring, on the margin of which grew many ahar flowers. One day she asked him to pick her some of the ahar flowers, and while he was doing so, she cast some sort of spell upon him, and spirited him away into the pool. Under the water he found dry land and many habitations. They went on till they came to the Bonga girl's house, and there he too saw the snake seats, and tigers and leopards. He was hospitably entertained, and stayed there about 6 months. One of his wife's brothers was assigned to him as his particular companion, and they used to go out hunting together. They used tigers for hunting dogs, and their prey was men and women, whom the tigers killed, while the bonga took their flesh home and cooked it. One day, when they were hunting, the bonga pointed out to the young man a woodcutter in the jungle and told him to set the tiger on to yonder peacock. But he could not bring himself to commit murder, so he first shouted to attract the woodcutter's attention, and then let the tiger loose. The woodcutter saw the animal coming and killed it with his axe as it sprang upon him. His Bonga father in law was so angry with him for having caused the death of the tiger that he made his daughter take her husband back to the upper world again. In spite of all he had seen, the young man did not give up his Bonga wife, and every 2 or 3 months she used to spirit him away under the water. And now that man is a Jan Guru. The Bonga headman. Sarjum Gutu is a village about 4 miles from Barhat Bazar, on the banks of the Badi River. On the riverbank grows a large banyan tree. This village has no headman or Puranik. Any headman who is appointed invariably dies. So they have made a Bonga who lives in the banyan tree their headman. When any matter has to be decided, the villagers all meet at the banyan tree, where they have made their manji. Then they take out a stool to the tree and invite the invisible headman to sit on it. Then they discuss the matter and themselves speak the answers which the headman is supposed to give. This goes on to the present day, and there is no doubt that these same villagers sometimes offer human sacrifices, but they will never admit it, for it would bring them bad luck to speak about it. The villagers get on very well with the Bonga. If any of them has a wedding or a number of visitors at his house, and has not enough plates and dishes, he goes to the banyan tree and asks the headman to lend him some. Then he goes back to his house, and returning in a little while, finds the plates and dishes waiting for him under the tree. And when he has finished with them, he cleans them well and takes them back to the tree. Lakan and the Bongas. Once a young man named Lakan was on a hunting party, and he pursued a deer by himself, and it led him a long chase until he was far from his companions. And when he was close behind it, they came to a pool all overgrown with weeds, and the deer jumped into the pool, and Lakan after it. And under the weeds he found himself on a dry high road, and he followed the deer along this until it entered a house, and he also entered. The people of the house asked him to sit down, but the stool which was offered him was a coiled up snake, so he would not go near it. And he saw that they were Bongas, and was too frightened to speak. And in the cattle pen attached to the house, he saw a great herd of deer. Then a boy came running in and asked the mistress of the house who Lakan was. She said that he had brought their kid home for them. Lakan wanted to run away, but he could not remember the road by which he had come. 2 daughters of the house were there, and they wanted their father to keep Lakan as a son-in-law. But their father told them to catch him a kid and let him go. So they brought him a fawn, and the 2 girls led him back and took him through the pool to the upper world. But on the way they put some enchantment on him. For 2 or 3 weeks later he went mad, and in his madness he ran about from one place to another. And one day he ran into the pool and was seen no more. and no one knows where he went or whether the two Bonga maidens took him away. Conclusion of our journey. And so, we reach the conclusion of our journey for today, within the unending worlds of words and the never folding pages of knowledge. We have spent an enjoyable and beneficial time together within the embrace of Millennium Library, where voices meet tales and a new cultural legacy is forged. We hope you have enjoyed every moment and delved deeply into the dimensions of the story or novel we presented to you. Always remember that this grand edifice, Millennium Library, is the result of a unique collaboration between human creativity and the profound depth of artificial intelligence. Our goal is to enrich your ears and minds with the treasures of world literature and to make knowledge accessible to everyone, while preserving the ownership rights of Millennium Library for this distinctive production. Don't forget to follow us and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. And share this podcast with everyone around you, for knowledge is light, and together we illuminate the paths. Until we meet again in a future episode and a new literary adventure, may you be in the care and keeping of Allah, and within the realm of immortal words. Millennium Library, where tales are embodied, knowledge is narrated, and creativity is immortalized.